Hi, everyone. Today we're going to learn about one more type of divergent boundary. Should you need to get a hold of me, my email address is on the screen. It's rcrawford@jcpsmail.org. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So we have already looked at convergent boundaries where we usually have one or two pieces of oceanic crust on top of plates. Whenever oceanic crust is on top of a plate and we have a collision zone, we have a convergent boundary where two plates are colliding or coming together, one of those plates dives under another. And it's always the plate with the piece of oceanic crust that dives. We called that process subduction. Well, sometimes we don't have a piece of oceanic crust on top of a plate. We may have a continental plate colliding with another continental plate. So really, this gives us a much different result than one plate diving under another. So let's take a look. So of course, we're talking about a convergent plate boundary, which means that these plates are going to be moving toward each other. But remember, this is continental crust and continental crust. So let's take a look at this diagram. We can see that we have plate one that's moving this direction, plate two, we have some convection down here that's moving these plates together. But let's take a look at what happens at the actual collision zone. I want you to notice that really nothing is being subducted here. Okay, the prominent thing that I want you to notice is this bit right here. I want you to notice how part of the crust, part of this continental crust, is being pushed upwards. It's thickening, it's folding. Well, honestly, this is when we have two pieces of continental crust colliding, it really turns out to be a real wreck. Okay, now, these are very slow collisions, just like all other plate boundaries. But when we have two pieces of continental crust come together and collide, we end up creating some of the tallest mountains on our planet, right? And so we call these folded mountains. So let's look at the two processes involved here. And there's actually several processes that I won't talk about. But uplift is one of the processes that we have at a convergent continental to continental. And uplift just means that this crust is going to be pushed up, the continental crust, because nothing can subduct. Neither one of these pieces of continental crust will subduct because they're too thick and too light. Instead, it's going to crumple up. It's going to be forced up. It's going to pile up. And so that's what uplift is. It's when the crust is being squeezed together and it just kind of piles up or crumples up. We also have this folding. So as part of this folding, as part of this collision, we're going to have these folds that are going to happen in the rock. And these are, of course, permanent folds. But these folds actually turn into what we call the folded mountains. Now, two examples are listed here for this type of continental to continental collision. The Himalayan Mountains, which are, of course, some of you know that contains Mount Everest, the listed tallest peak on our planet, but also the mountains that we live in were created by this process. Okay, so this process of a collision of two pieces of continental crust, two plates with continental crust on top, that's going to create folded mountains. There's only one type of natural disaster here, and that's going to be some very powerful earthquakes. As I said, this is a messy business. You're going to have a lot of folding, a lot of faulting. You're going to have rock under a lot of stress, and sometimes rock fractures or breaks or bends, and you have some very fast movement. Of course, that causes elastic rebound, which is going to push these mountains up. So when we look at the Himalayas, I just kind of want to, I say that the Himalayan mountains were created by this process. Let's look backwards in time. I just want to take a look at this collision just a little bit more. So if I look at this diagram right here, and we know that the Indian plate didn't used to be part of the Eurasian plate. Okay, so it moves, roughly 10 centimeters a year. So about 71 million years ago, it would have been out in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And you can see that over millions of years, this Indian plate has eventually collided with the Eurasian plate. Okay, so as this collision was going on, slowly but surely, these mountains, this crust is being crumpled up. It's piling up. It's thickening. There's a lot of uplift and folding going on there. So these mountains were created by this collision of the Indian plate with the Eurasian plate. Interesting fact for you, the Himalayan mountains are still growing. So this is a collision that is still happening. This collision has not yet stopped. The Indian plate is still moving up against the Eurasian plate. As a result, if you live in this area, there are still lots of earthquakes, very powerful earthquakes that can be quite dangerous as those mountains continue to be pushed up and the folding and the faulting continues. So one thing I want you to notice about these mountains is these folds, they end up producing not just one chain of mountains, but usually several parallel chains. So, each one of these folds would be like sort of a separate set of ridges or chains of mountains. And so when we look at our mountains, so this is a picture taken really from space. This is the Appalachian Mountains, and it's really easy for you to see these folds. You can see these parallel chains of mountains, parallel, yeah, mountain chains that are right next to each other. So really, the thing that I need you to take away is whenever we have a convergent boundary, two pieces of continental crust, neither one of those pieces of continental crust are going to subduct. Instead, they're going to thicken, crumple up, fold up, however you want to think about it, but they're going to create some folded mountains. And really, our last plate boundary that we need to look at today, guys, and this is one that we've really looked at before when we studied earthquakes, is a transform boundary. Well, whenever we have a transform boundary, transform boundaries are not going to create really any landforms to speak of, but they are going to create some powerful earthquakes, right? So this is when we have one plate sliding by another plate. Sometimes those plates get stuck together. So even though the plates are still moving, the rock kind of gets hung up and pressure begins to build up, maybe for years at a time. And then after the pressure becomes great enough, that rock's either going to fracture or it's going to spring back and take its original shape. And that sudden release of pressure, that's what we call elastic rebound, and that is going to produce earthquakes. So we talked about this when we talked about earthquakes. We talked about two pieces of rock sliding past each other in opposite directions. But for a transform boundary, this is what you're looking at. Our no landforms. Our process will be elastic rebound, which is of course what creates earthquakes. Uh, and our natural disaster will be powerful earthquakes. Our example that we've already talked about is the San Andreas Fault in California. So, guys, that's going to do it for plate boundaries. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk again soon.